Hi everybody, this is Dan with Permagreen, and for today's video I wanted to explain the dual rate adjusters on the Permagreen Triumph. So obviously we have a Permagreen Triumph right here, and the dual rate adjusters is a way to set a spread rate for when you're in high gear and for when you're in low gear. So you see here, that is the high gear rate adjuster down underneath the hopper there, and then you have the low gear rate adjuster up here, which is this knob and this stop nut there. And how it works, I know with the as far as setting your rate, and I mentioned it in previous videos, if you look at a bag of fertilizer, that's one way of doing it. If they have the Let's Go push spreader setting, that's actually equivalent to our machine in low gear, and then you could add 2 notches on your gauge is to get your high gear setting. So there's going to be 2 notches difference there in regards to high and low gear. So if we take a look down here, and I actually have this preset, but you have your high gear setting there, and what you want to do is take your gauge key, and what I did was I used the example, or I used a setting of 16 on this. And if you take your gauge key and open to 16, this is preset, but if you have it open to 16, you go down here to the rate adjuster, and you can see you got a knob and then an arm that goes back to this white stopper nut. And typically, if this is, this is going to be pushed to one side here, you take this knob, loosen it up, and move it until that white stopper nut in the back there hits that slide plate where it's open at, and then you just lock that down, and you got it set. Now this is this Allen wrench nut here is going to be just there for added security, so you can push it up against where it's set at, and that'll just help keep it in place. Usually with newer machines, you don't really have to worry about that as much, but as this wears down, you can push that up against it, and it'll help hold it into place. Now we do have increments on this sticker here, and sometimes they won't quite match up. I mean, you can kind of see that in this case they're not quite at what a 16 would be on this sticker. So you definitely want to make sure you use your gauge keys at least starting out. This sticker and these increments are more or less there for reference, and as time goes on, you can kind of more knowledgeably use that for reference in certain products. But for starting out, you definitely want to use your gauge key. So we have this set here for high gear, and you can kind of see how it's open and closed. It's going to go to that 16 spot each time. Now, as far as low gear goes, we got this up here. What you want to do is open the hopper lever until you get to a 14 setting. So, for example, you can go ahead and take the 14 there. Make sure it's in there at the 14 setting. And then what you want to do is you want to take this black knob here and push it, or loosen it rather, from this position, and push it up against wherever the lever is set at. So in this case, I kind of preset this. I use this Allen wrench nut right here to set my spot with this knob. So typically it starts out in the back here, and then once you push this black knob up against the lever and have that set at that, in this case 14, then you can take this Allen wrench nut, push it up against this knob, and it'll save that spot, so to speak, so that it's going to go to that spot each time. So from there, once you have that set, basically going from high gear to low gear, you can just take this knob, push it all the way forward, and that'll get it out of the way and default to the rate adjuster underneath the hopper or the high gear setting. And then if you want to go to the low gear setting, you just go ahead and push that knob up against this Allen wrench nut here, and you can't see it, but there's an Allen nut on the other side there, but that'll save that spot, and then you go to that low gear setting. So that way you move back and forth from low gear to high gear. I know that some guys out there will just set one rate and go. Some guys use it 99% of the time in high gear. If that's the case, I would recommend using the this as your main rate adjuster. But again, if you want to go from high gear to low gear, or even if you're using two different products you want to go back and forth with, that's how you do it. So if you have any questions, give us a call. We'll be at phone number 1-800-346-2001.